Happy Monday, everyone. We're just gonna go through some posture correction types here. This is something I had to work on a long time to get the flat-footed squat. It's even harder barefoot, and you can see a lot more what the foot's doing when it's barefoot. It's grabbing the ground. We're actually forcing the hip flexors to work a lot here to get that engagement. We're trying to lengthen that spine as best as possible. And you can use your arms to kind of squeeze your knees in a little bit. It's going to help some of that external rotation of this femur. We're trying to mobilize this femur, the femoral acetabular joint we call it, because it's very rigid and stuck in most people. So that's what we're just trying to get going there. Forcing lengthening of the spine. Really going to help release some hamstring stress too, because even though the hamstring flexes the knee, we're resolving some of that. This is another thing I've been doing, right? You just strengthen the front of the neck, and at the same time we're stretching to the back of the neck. So you want to maintain a very level spine. Don't let that head fall back. You'll notice as I get weaker, my head will start probably going into extension. It's an extension problem we've seen a lot. The chin will start doing this direction. So we want to try to fight that in there. You can see that one big muscle there. Hard to tell here, but you can see it in a lot of people when we lengthen. That's our SCM muscle here. That is actually a neck extensor muscle. Pulls it back. That's actually not the muscle we're strengthening here. It's going to feel like you're using that muscle, but you're actually stretching it. You're using more of these. We get the double chin, right? Any area that's flabby and weak. When it's flabby, it's weak, right? We're not using it enough. So that's broken areas in our posture. That's all going to affect our spine. So this is a good little exercise to get you stronger. There's this pushed up part here where it's pushing into my thoracic. You can put a pillow there. You're laying on the floor to do this, right in that thoracic area. I'll sometimes be more here, sometimes here. It all depends on where you feel you're more rounded. When you're looking in the mirror, you can kind of gauge that where you want to support yourself. Don't let that head fall. You'll see it'll keep going. Just do your best. And once you start shaking, that's a great thing. That's a good thing. It means change is happening. So you can do this when you're texting. Just throw that in there. Just lay on your bed or whatever. Even the bed will work. Just try to support that mid area. The plank is not something we do a lot, but it's very good for strengthening the hip flexors and the core. You should feel this in your hips. If you don't, you want to fight for that lengthening. Ear, shoulder, hip, relatively straight line. And again, you're going to feel that neck. You want to feel it. The head's going to want to pull into extension. The pelvis is going to want to shift forward. So make sure when you're planking, you're doing it correctly in a way that's actually working the weaker muscles and not just the muscles that are already strong. So if any of these postures you feel comfortable with, keep tweaking it to make it hard, make it tough. And if you feel like it's not tough, you might just be really strong in that area. You don't need to strengthen those muscles anymore because everyone has their dominances. I'm not talking about anyone being really weak here. We all are strong in certain areas because we all do certain things and different things. We're going to have strong muscles just from daily life. Just because you don't go to the gym doesn't mean you're weak all over the place. If you get up and you move and you're doing something, even sitting is a type of exercise. Your body feels like it's just resting on the joints, but there are muscles that have to work to keep you upright so you don't fall into a blob of jelly. I like to do that little sway motion. Just feel like it eases up some of my muscles here. So here, head's coming into extension a little bit. I'm already tired from the first plank and the butt is sticking up too much. So we want to work on these things. It's good to record yourself because you just don't know, you can't feel it when you're doing it. You might think that you're straight, but you're not. It looks like that's coming down naturally. Probably felt like that was sticking up too much. I got a big butt, gotta tuck it in there. But yeah, getting that chin in there, that'll make it harder. You'll feel that whole lengthening of the spine happen and you'll get more bang for your buck. But probably any bending at the spine, any type of bending, is all how we cheat a little bit. You know, we round at our spine, that's when we can lift heavier objects and do exercise. So in the plank, we want to round. It's going to be easier to hold that longer than holding it in a length position. It's going to be much more tough. Like I always say, holding a weight out in front of you versus holding a weight close to your body, be able to hold that longer because the muscle is in a more shortened state. Your bicep is in a more shortened state. Working muscles in a lengthened state is tougher. It's another good one for getting the hips mobilized. I like to stick, this one actually works better in a shoe because I feel like I can stick the heel of my shoe right up underneath where my hamstring attaches, which is right on that, what we call the sacral tuberosity. So we're getting that, ischial tuberosity, right underneath there where that hamstring tendon goes in and just stretching. Then we've got hinge forward, so we're tightening in the stomach, pulling ourselves forward, relatively trying to keep our ear, shoulder, and hip in one straight line again. Again, utilizing not only the hip flexors, but the neck flexors. Same idea here. We're not letting the knee go forward because we want the hips to push back. We want the hip flexors engaged and the neck engaged. It might even look like I'm a little rounded there, and that maybe that's true. I could be a little more lengthened, but I'm still engaging those hip flexors. This one it is tough for me. It's one of the ones that is really tough because I feel very unsteady, especially when I'm using more of my right foot. So you want to find those exercises where you feel unsteady, or you want to push yourself to the point where you feel unsteady. That's change is happening. You want to fight for that. And it can be extremely frustrating. And I'll show you here at the end when I'm doing these that I'm not very good at this type of exercise because my feet are just generally very weak. And when you break your heels, you have a weak area, so you have to keep working on that area. It's not like, oh, I'm going to avoid that area because I'm not strong in that area. No, you definitely need to hit it. And I know that my left leg, which I'm on right now, is actually a lot stronger than my right leg, which I'll show you. And you can feel it the more you continue to work that weak area, that uncomfortable area. You want to keep hitting it, make it stronger, fight for that balance. I don't do this one a lot, and I should. I forget about this. People think I'm anti-yoga. This is tree pose, but it's actually a good exercise to do. And you fail frequently. Keep failing, because that shows you that your whole spine is trying to work to keep it balanced, and your foot is grabbing and working to try to keep it balanced. So that it's really going to work your brain. It's going to work those different muscles that we don't utilize a lot, because we naturally will play to our dominances, and that might be the other leg is very dominant. So I'm putting more weight on that when I'm not thinking about it. The other leg's going to get more of my weight. That leg's going to continually get stronger, and my other leg's going to continually get weaker, and that's going to create imbalances in the pelvis and in the spine. And the way I normally do this exercise is getting my shoes on in the morning, my socks, my shoes, and I try to lace them standing with one foot. I pull the foot in front of me, pull that hip up there, and I try to lace it in that position. We're a very lengthened spine, not trying to round it all, and I'm not bending down to put the shoe on. I'm just trying to hold that leg up in the air, flexing that hip, and getting some balance. The one, I'm mobilizing that hip that I've lengthened, and I'm working the other foot that's on the ground, because we just don't have as much balance as we should. We lose that in later life. We see that. And that's mainly because we have flat surfaces, and we have shoes that we rely on, all this support. Other cultures are walking around on uneven surfaces all the day, and maybe they don't have the best shoes, and their feet are a lot stronger, and their arches are a lot stronger, and their toes, and they grab, and ours are very atrophied and weak, and we just don't feel the earth like we should, because we have a lot more nerves like in our extremities, in our hands, because we're supposed to feel, and we don't utilize those things. They get weaker. Like a guitar player will have really thick myelinated nerves because he's got so much neuromotor control from playing those guitars, and those nerves are really thick because they use them. Where in the feet, we'll see they're like little stringy little nerves, because a lot of people just don't use them enough. So when you're walking, even in your shoes, try to reach and grab on the floor, and do little things like this throughout the day that continually strengthen you. And it'll be annoying, and you'll be teetering and tottering like I am, because obviously I haven't worked on this as much as I should. But it's good reminders to just do it, continually do it. Like Shia LaBeouf, just do it. All right? While you're reading your magazine, or whatever you're doing, texting, sending a text, make it posture time. And the overall goal is to do this stuff throughout the day, anytime you're walking. Think about the little tips I'm giving you, like lighten your heel strike, use your hip flexors more, get your hips underneath you when you're walking, activate those weaker muscles, the neck flexors, the hip flexors. Little things throughout the day to make a big change, because little things throughout the day is what has gotten you into this broken, dysfunctional state or we think we are having good posture, but we don't know that we're not, because we've become so dysfunctional and the system has become so broken that it actually feels comfortable. Remember, the short muscles want to be shortened, and you're only going to feel comfortable when those muscles are shortened. So what feels comfortable to you is not right. You want to fight for that uncomfortable feeling. Lengthen, fight against it. You're going to feel those restrictions. The more you do it, you're going to get stronger. The more you'll be able to resist the downward forces of gravity, because if you're resisting or fighting up against it constantly, and that's going to remove a lot of neurological stress. It's going to open up those areas where the nerves come out, and you're just going to do better overall. It's going to help every area of your life. It's going to help digestion, your immune system, your heart rate, your breathing is going to be better. This is the foundation of a lot of our health. You know, we're always focusing on which herb I should take or what vitamin I should take to fix this symptom or that symptom. There's all these different symptoms, and they might all be arising from a singular source. I'm not saying this is going to fix everything, but it's a great place to start because it's free. And you're fixing so many things in one, just changing your biomechanics and how you're moving and approaching daily movement, just reevaluating and reteaching yourself how to move right. All right, guys, hope that helped. Hope you learned something.